Hello, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World, and I'm your host, Jargalma Dushinjargal. Our top stories for today. The Tissum Artsur Port Development Forum 2024 took place in Zahwan province. Medipol University Hospital of Turkey recently opened their representative office in Mongolia. From September 2024, children will be vaccinated against human papillomavirus infection. For the news, stay tuned. The Tissum Artsur Port Development Border Forum was held in Zahwan province. This province has significant opportunities for development due to its northern border with the Tuva Republic of Russia. However, these opportunities have not yet been fully leveraged. There is an intention to transform the Artsur port into an international port to capitalize on these advantages. Zahwan province has the highest prices for fuel and consumer goods compared to other provinces. Plans are underway to upgrade the border port of Artsur to an international status and address this issue. As of today, the project is about 80% complete. In connection with the port's upgrading, the governments of the two countries have decided to exempt more than 300 types of goods from customs duty. To ensure local preparedness, the Tissum Artsur Port Development Forum was organized.
The development of this port is the top priority for our province. Therefore, Russia is positioned to support this port in achieving international status. Working groups from both sides are actively collaborating in carrying out the necessary tasks. Port construction is being funded through state budget investment as well as via foreign subsidized loans. Additionally, construction work has commenced as part of the law on public-private partnerships.
Tuva Republic has a population exceeding 330,000, making it the second most populous region in Russia. Due to a shortage of meat during the spring and midsummer season in the Tuva Republic, discussions have revolved around the feasibility of purchasing horse meat from Mongolia without the need for any additional documentation.
These high-priority activities serve as a significant catalyst for advancing business, cross-border trade, as well as economic and tourism relations. Following a visit led by the governor of Zahwan province, working groups have been established on both sides, and plans are well underway. Currently, there is a meat shortage in the Republic of Tuva. Hence, entrepreneurs in Zahwan province are being encouraged to supply horse meat to Tuva.
There are indications that the export volume from the Artsur border port is inadequate compared to other ports. As part of addressing this issue, a 15-person subcommittee for the Artsur border port has been established through this forum. Provincial leaders have initiated plans after visiting Kazakhstan and the Tuva Republic.
If a road was constructed from the Artsur border point to Tissum, it will stimulate an influx of people into Tissum. The subsequent priority involves addressing the electricity issues at this border point. The land management plan encompasses the selection of units for establishing trade and service points, along with allocating land for international-grade fuel wholesale points. Furthermore, all of our business owners have the freedom to participate in auctions, acquire land following the law, and develop their businesses accordingly.
The future vision entails positioning Zahwan province as a hub of tourism and trade in the western region, focusing on Ulestasum for transport and logistics, and Tissum for agriculture and farming. Both countries will prioritize the practical implementation of the topics discussed during this inaugural forum held in Tissum. Medipol University Hospital's recent establishment of a representative office in Mongolia marks a significant milestone in providing accessible and advanced healthcare services to individuals in the region. With a dedicated team of 2,500 medical specialists and a commitment to affordability and excellence, Medipol is poised to make a positive impact on healthcare outcomes in Mongolia. Medipol University Hospital of Turkey, through its representative office in Mongolia, offers complimentary consultations and information services. It also covers transportation expenses between the airport, hospital, and hotels in Istanbul, Turkey, and provides daily translation services in over 30 languages during treatment, ensuring comprehensive support for patients.
Our Medipol University Hospital representative office in Mongolia strives to offer official meditation services for individuals seeking treatment in Turkey but are unsure of where to begin. Our experienced doctors utilize cutting-edge technology for examinations and treatments. Additionally, our meditation services at Medipol Hospital are completely priced, offering lower costs compared to other countries.
Medipol University Hospital boasts a team of 2,500 medical specialists covering all areas of healthcare. Alongside 22 other representative offices, the office in Mongolia has commenced operations on the western side of the Ulaanbaatar department store. Now let's take a look at Mongolian current affairs.
From September, children will be vaccinated against the papilloma virus. In October 2023, the Immunization Act was amended to include the human papilloma virus vaccine as a mandatory immunization. The law requires 11-year-old children to be vaccinated, while children of other age are eligible for voluntary immunization. The vaccine is administered at the National Medical Center. Cervical cancer caused by the papilloma virus is the leading cancer among Mongolian women. Therefore, according to Government Resolution number 472 of December 27, 2023, the national vaccination calendar was reapproved and 11-year-old boys and girls must receive the vaccine as scheduled. According to the immunization law, vaccinations against tuberculosis, polio, hepatitis B virus, diphtheria, whooping cough, tetanus, measles, Haemophilus influenza type B, hepatitis A virus, pneumococcal infection, human papillomavirus, swine cancer, and rubella are mandatory vaccinations. The premiere of the 61st season of the Mongolian State Academic Theatre of Opera and Ballet began in October 2023, but on the 23rd of this month, the season will close with the World Classical Ballet Giselle by Adam and the opera Giorgio-san by Puccini. The Giselle Ballet will be shown at the theatre on the 15th and 16th of this month. The ballet, named after a woman named Giselle, was originally called Willis or the Phantoms. The music was composed by Adolphe Charles Adam and the libretto was written by Henry de St. Georges, Théophile Jotter, and Jean Corali, inspired by the dialogues of the writer Henry Heine. The first concert took place on June 28, 1841 at the Grand Opera House of Paris, France. It immediately aroused the interest of the audiences of the time, and in 1841 to 1848 it was staged in almost every European city. But the premiere of this ballet in our country took place on December 22, 1979. In 2022, the ballet was staged again. The updated choreography was staged by the chief choreographer of the Mongolian State Academic Theatre of Opera and Ballet, Dashlau. The stage design was created by the Mongolian State Academic Theatre of Opera and Ballet artist, Mongolian State Leading Cultural Worker Ganzarg, and the conductors were Mongolian State Leading Cultural Worker Giltsik and Yundeng. The Giorgio-san opera is the sixth most popular opera in the world. The opera was performed on our country's theater stage on April 17, 1967, under the direction of Hlasurung and conductors Demdensrung and Cholong. In this opera, only a beautiful Asian woman will have love, loyalty, and the courage to give her life for her children. Therefore, with this work, Puccini received deep respect from the audience. The Giorgio-san opera is a sad sad love story between a lieutenant in the American Navy and an Oriental beauty with a clear jade face and butterfly eyes. The opera was first performed in Milan in 1904.
You're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. Now let's take a look at currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Next, our program will turn our attention to foreign news, partnered with international news agencies. Riot police in Argentina's capital Buenos Aires have fired tear gas and water cannon to disperse protesters outside Congress, where lawmakers have been debating budget-slashing reforms.
Demonstrators who say the measures will hurt millions of Argentines threw petrol bombs and stones, setting one car alight. A number of people were reported injured, with local media describing the scene on Wednesday as a battlefield. The reform package proposed by right-wing President Javier Milei to revive the country's flagging economy includes declaring a state of economic emergency, cutting pensions, and watering down labor rights. The measures are opposed by leftist political parties, labor unions, and social organizations. Scuffles broke out when protesters tried to make their way towards Congress through fences, with demonstrators throwing rocks at officers who pepper sprayed them. Observers and opposition MPs reportedly said dozens of demonstrators and a handful of MPs received medical attention. At least 5 opposition MPs in the crowd were hospitalized, legislator Cecilia Moreau told AFP news agency. Police later pushed back protesters who reportedly set 2 vehicles on fire, including that of a news organization. The debate on the bill in the Senate is set to continue late into Wednesday, with senators expected to take a vote on it. The highly divisive bill was approved by the lower house in April with significant changes. If approved in the Senate, it will return to the lower house for final approval. Mr. Milei came to office in 2023 after vowing to take a chainsaw to public spending. While on the campaign trail, he even brandished a chainsaw while making a speech to symbolize his determination to do so.
Chinese electric cars may become pricier in the European Union after politicians called them a threat to its own industry.
It has provisionally concluded that Chinese electric vehicle (EV) manufacturers will face tariffs from 4th July should discussions with Chinese authorities not lead to an effective solution. The EU's announcement comes as it continues an investigation into what it claims is a flood of cheap, government-subsidized Chinese cars into the trade bloc. China alleged the tariffs violated international trade rules and described the investigation as protectionism. EV makers who cooperated with the investigation, which the EU's governing European Commission launched in October, will face an average of 21% duty, while those who did not will face one of 38.1%. Meanwhile, specific charges will apply to 3 companies: BYD 17.4%, Geely 20%, SAIC 38.1%. Non-Chinese car companies that produce some EVs in China, including EU-based ones like BMW, will also be affected. The Commission said Tesla may receive an individually calculated duty rate because of a specific request it had made. These charges would come on top of the current rate of a 10% tariff levied on all electric cars produced in China. The EU's intervention comes after the US made the much bolder move of raising its tariff on Chinese electric cars from 25% to 100% last month. The decision has drawn criticism not just from China, but also from politicians within the EU and several industry figures. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Yin Jian said the anti-subsidy investigation is a typical case of protectionism. He added that the tariffs might also risk damaging China-EU economic and trade cooperation and the stability of the global automobile production and supply chain. The tariffs will apply definitely from November unless there is a qualified majority of EU states, 15 countries representing at least 65% of the bloc's population voting against the move. Germany's Transport Minister Volker Wissing said it risked a trade war with Beijing.
At least 9 people have been killed and 29 injured in a Russian missile strike on Ukraine's southern city of Kryvyi Rih, local officials say.
Ukraine's Prosecutor General's office says 5 children are among the injured after a residential building was hit on Wednesday. Earlier, 4 people were reported missing. Emergency services, police, and volunteers are now combining through the wreckage. Search dogs have been brought to the scene. Russia's defense ministry has not publicly commented on the reported strike on Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky's hometown. Mr. Zelensky has expressed his condolences to the victims, relatives, and friends. Every day and every hour, Russian terror proves that Ukraine, together with its partners, must strengthen air defense, he said.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has told Hamas that it is time for haggling to stop after its leaders proposed numerous changes to a plan for a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal.
He told reporters in Doha that some of the changes were workable and others were not, but that the U.S. and mediators Qatar and Egypt would try to close this deal. Hamas said on Tuesday that it was ready to deal positively with the process, but stressed the need for Israel to agree to a permanent ceasefire and full withdrawal from Gaza. The Israeli government did not comment, but an anonymous official said the Palestinian armed group's response amounted to a rejection. Israel's prime minister has not yet publicly endorsed the proposal, which U.S. President Joe Biden said had been offered by the country when he outlined it 12 days ago. But Mr. Blinken said Benjamin Netanyahu had reaffirmed his commitment during a meeting in Jerusalem on Monday. The UN Security Council also passed a resolution supporting the proposal that day, adding to the diplomatic pressure that Washington is exerting.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at weather forecast for world major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.
Монгол орны хөрсөнд